Okay, I will start reading the notes within 20 seconds. So, some people complain about preamble, which is actually fair when I think about it, because frankly, I've got nothing to say, especially in this context specifically. I would just be talking out my arse. So let's just get right into it. This is season 4, patch 2. Typo fixes, and obviously I'll comment on anything I believe to be of significance. Fixed incorrect mission control voice lines on salvage with lithophage warning. I assume this is in reference to possibly flipping or confusing the voice lines for the objectives. Like you complete one first and it will refer to either the primary objective or the lithophage objective. I assume there was something wrong there. Fixed driller platinum paint job inconsistent with other classes. And I've seen this, it's a very minor change. It's a very, it's a minor change. It's almost unnoticeable, but you put the two side by side, it's noticeable, but it's very minor and unnoticeable in the sense that it still, the change, while you can see it, doesn't pronounce why it was needed. And it's not really said why it was needed. I can't really say it was inconsistent. Fixed sand shark, aka trawler, teleporting to mission start when it turns vulnerable. Well, that sounds like a great feature, getting rid of them. Fixed septic spreader not having arched line of sight checks, which should help with its behaviour, because basically how it worked, if you've seen Lazy Maybe's video, if a spreader could not find a line of sight, it would just decide to just run towards you until you kill it. I think this might have helped that. Fixed cases where double boss health bar could appear, which sounds a bit strange. I don't know if that has anything to do with the weird Dreadnought armor breaking bug that they fixed. Anyway, fixed pickaxe copy paste changed weapon loadout. Oh, I see. So if you were to copy and paste your pickaxe loadout, it would do the same for those slots as weapons. So there does seem to be a weird inconsistency with how tied together those loadouts are. I would assume that one that is not is Bosco. Bosco is the only thing that's actually completely separate in terms of loadouts, you know. The other guys, you know, like your wardrobe, your pickaxe customization, and your weapons and equipment, they're all actually tied together. But you should be able to copy and paste those things without changing the other things, I think. Hopefully they fixed that completely. Fixed an issue with small beard and armors. It seems like they didn't. Maybe. I saw someone still had like a complaint. They actually had a small beard and it clipped through armor. It was one of the small beards that is supposed to remove the chest area to make room for it, even though it's a small beard. So I don't know if that was because they tagged that one to not remove the chest armor or something like that. I don't know. It's a very strange thing, and I really hope that they realise that the actual solution is just to introduce a toggle. I think it's so obvious. Because that means you have control over it, especially when wearing a full face mask, like the shock trooper helmet or something. And it means you could remove the chest area if you wanted to, or have it there if you wanted to. Fixed mission control, repeating the progress shouts for the meteor multiple times. I never got that, but still, any bug fix is a good bug fix. Fixed incorrect displaying rate of fire on minigun. I've seen that, and it's not actually incorrect, because if you don't know, the minigun stats visually are doubled. Which means when it was displaying +2 instead of +4, it was actually accurate to what it's actually adding, except the difference is you start at 30 rate of fire and you jump to 34. But the truth is you're actually at 15 and you jump to 17. You don't go from 30 to 32. You go from 15 to 17 or 30 to 34. So it's kind of strange. Reverted some changes to Wave Manager that's causing problems. I feel like I've seen this multiple times now, and I assume it's referring to the incredible numbers that we've been experiencing in terms of enemies. I really do hope that they that the Hazard 5 seemingly having gotten harder this season might not be deliberate, but I hope it stays around in some way. I've actually appreciated the increased difficulty quite a bit. Fix the bar to explosive rounds only working on caretaker events when more than one of them were alive. There's something else to do with explosive rounds that I'm not going to talk about here because I don't want it to get fixed. But yeah, that's a very minor thing. It's only in the caretaker events, but still, everything should work against everything. Shouldn't it, Ghost Ship? Randomizer will now correctly randomize pickaxe again. Have they actually fixed that? Randomizer seems to be very, very buggy. I believe there's some kind of fix in the next patch, which is, of course, patch 3, which just arrived. Obviously, I've sort of put these two together because not every patch is worth an entire video. I thought that's maybe obvious, but basically, I'm still grouping these together. It'll be still title patches 2 and 3, but they only really form a more significant change to the game when placed side by side, right? Then we got patch 3, which just came out. Some stuff to do, well, that Dreadnought armor thing. Okay, fixed an issue that would make the lobber septic spreader. Walk up to the player and boop them without trying to shoot at them. Is it actually fixed, though? Is it actually fixed? We'll see. I hope so. Attempt at fixing randomizer beer has been problem with certain overclocks. Yeah, the double overclocks thing. Now, will this make its way into the game as a feature? Unlikely. Obviously, if there's an uproar, we tend to get a response of some kind, but I don't think this necessarily deserves that. I was thinking about the double overclocks thing and how unbalanced it would really be. I don't think it's worth looking into. I realised it would really just, if we could do that, but my idea of how you would balance it is that you would just be able to take 2 overclocks but you sacrifice all of your mods. And I realised that would basically mean you would just be picking ammo overclocks and then an unstable overclock, and that's it. You know, if there was some way to do it in the overpowered sense where you keep all your modifications but you also get 2 overclocks, that would need to be some kind of alternate mode, some kind of anomaly, some kind of special thing that you wouldn't make progress on that mission or something, some kind of sandbox feature. It's a cool idea, but randomizer should be more comprehensive, more intuitive. It's confusing at the moment in a way that it shouldn't be. Obviously, it's supposed to surprise you, but it shouldn't. What's the word? Discombobulate you, I suppose. Fixed that players can pick up 2 beers at once from the bar. That's very dwarven, though. We should be able to pick up 2, both hands, you know? Maybe I shouldn't do that action. Fixed that you could lose your beer when equipping jetty boots in the space rig, and that's just unacceptable. The barrel hoop will now kill you when jet booting up through it. That's brilliant. Fixed Glyphid Dreadnought, and this is only a case for this is only a thing for the standard Dreadnought, which makes sense. Armor broken. Oh, well, yeah, I know what this is about. It's just a weird way of wording it. Basically, you could damage the Dreadnought through its armor from any position as well, which was making Dreadnought fights completely trivial. I believe on console we actually should have that bug because we only just got the most recent patch. So, fingers crossed. Not that it should stay around. I'd like to experience it. Fixed that retrievable crossbow bolts don't emit any light as a client. Sure. Fixed Glyphid animation that raises 4 legs overhead creates errant dirt particles mid-air. What? Fixed bubbles in small biotanks. I guess that's just the vats on the space rig. There's something with the bubbles. Sure. Fixed Mactera's missing dissolve animation on their corpse. Apparently this fixes the grabbers. Not sure what was wrong with the grabbers, but sure. Fixed crash when copy-pasting Bosco's loadout, so even that wasn't completely okay. SMG now correctly tag as primary weapon in the weapon ID. Now, what does that mean? Where is that in game? Is that like, so when you're in a mission and you switch between weapons, you see the little UI element pop up. It tells you what kind of weapon you just switched to. And I think it does say primary weapon or secondary weapon. Did it say secondary weapon for the stubby? That would be pretty funny if it did. Although, yeah, okay, this is about the stubby. Yeah, correctly tagged as primary weapon. And just typo fixes. Okay, some basic stuff. Good stuff. Any fix is a good fix. Even the big ones like the promotion bug, because that obviously led to something else. So, yeah, any fix is a good fix. And I hope you can see why I waited for there to be 2 patches to cover. Probably remain the same from here on out, although the rate of patch production is noticeably slow, which isn't inherently a bad thing, right? Because it basically it actually means that the season isn't inherently as buggy as previous ones, which I don't think is actually true, but it might be. I've seen people actually saying that this is like buggier than before, which is wrong. It is actually less buggy than most updates have been. But what's interesting is actually the bugs that have been caused by patches. Like, you know, the Dreadnought thing was not a bug when Season 4 launched. It only became a bug after patch number 2, as you can see right there. So it's interesting that is even a thing. I'm just wondering if there'll actually be more than one patch after this point for Season 4, if any. Because if everything's fixed, then there doesn't need to be any. Obviously, patch number 3 could cause even more bugs, but that's neither here nor there. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, that was season 4, patches 2 and 3. Well, I'd ask you, I'd say if you enjoy, please want to make sure to like, subscribe. But this isn't inherently the kind of video you're meant to enjoy. But if you are interested in seeing more of these, please do those things, and you can hit the bell if you want as well to get notified. But that might just clog your feed. I don't know. But I'm going to cover all patches eventually. I mean, maybe it doesn't. Maybe people don't appreciate the wait. But at the same time, the thing is, the patch videos do well, which is why I don't inherently feel good about making a video that's going to get maybe 1,000 or even thousands of views on something that is extremely light and shallow in its actual importance to the game. I feel like I need at least 2 patches to justify this, because I feel like if I didn't have 2 patches to talk about, I would kind of just be making the video just to get the views, which I know is the point, but that's not, doesn't inherently sit right with me either, so I had to wait. Although which makes it difficult for the next one, I suppose. I don't know how long I'm supposed to wait. It's a 2-day difference, so maybe I should only wait 2 days after the 4th patch, or at least until the next weekend. If say we get patch number 4 on Friday, I'm not just gonna make the season 4. I'm not just gonna make the 4th patch video on Sunday because they didn't get out in 2 days, because it's not going to come out on Saturday or Sunday. I would wait until like Tuesday or something. Either way, that's it. Nothing major, but it's all good. So, well, I'll see you in a minute, a live stream, if you're interested.